some other things ready. Sorry, I was reading something. So I want to do a few things today on top of the subject matter, which says nerdy Q&A for anybody in the chat who wants to come in and drop a question or ask anything. I will just put it up here so we know what the general subject matter is. The artwork that's going through, as well as the little GIF that's at the bottom, and I guess pretty much everything. The little icon, I did all those. If you're interested in some commissions, reach out to me. You can get all my information down at the link tree at the bottom there. But other than that, you can also find it in our 5e book that just happens to be in reach here. Into the Runiverse, 5e. You can find links to that at that link tree. The PDF, the Kindle, the soft cover, and the hardcover. Please check that out. It would really help me out if you're into nerdy stuff and D&D stuff. The Kindle and the PDF help the most, but the physical books help as well till we find a new printer that gives us a little bit bigger cut. But any way you can help is fantastic. You can also check out all of our streams. Follow us on here. Hey, it's going well, Dylan. Thanks for dropping in, saying hi. I'm just starting out here, letting people know about all different ways they can follow and check our stuff out. As it says down there at the bottom, you can always find our D&D streams every Sunday, most Sundays for weekends, and when enough people are sick or just need to take time off, we will occasionally take a Sunday off, but I would say almost as much as you can consider something consistent these days. We will be there every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to go into the Runiverse and see what sort of stuff Runa has to offer us. My music isn't playing. Oh God, I chose like super. Hold on, let's do downtime piano and all of the Elvish music. Holy cow! Okay, I didn't think it was going to be like Lord of the Rings embark. Great, but now I know what I can do my recap to every week. And it's only 2 minutes. That's going to keep me wrangled in so well. All the music is by Monument Studios. I think I mentioned that in the description. But you can, if you also get their music packs, you can use them for whatever you need. Like I'm using it here for these streams. This is probably going to be what my intro music is every week, so I know how to keep myself wrangled in. It's a 3-minute intro, and for me, that's keeping it wrangled in. So it'll be good for me. I did also have some brain fart. I had some TTRPG horror stories that I wanted to read. I usually just go to the front page and see what tickles my fancy. If they lead me to anything else, we'll see what goes there. And then I wanted to just sort of live build some RPG maps. I was going to do a full art stream today, but I cannot find the final little connector doohickey that I need to get my iPad connected to my computer. So hopefully next time I'm on here live, I'll be doing some art like you see. I guess it's over here now. The art that you see over to that side, it's flipped for me. But other than that, yeah, I think I'm just going to start. All right. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. We'll go back and then we'll enjoy this all together. All right. So I've talked about this website before. Let me make this just a little bit smaller. Nope. Let me fix that. All right. Seen any good anime lately? Ooh, boy. I mean, the answer is usually always yes because I love anime. Enjoy the messy table that is actively played on behind me. But let me get this started real quick, and I will answer that question because that's a great question. Name the first episode of Free Run Over. Oh. I haven't seen Free Run yet, but I have been seeing nothing but great reviews, so that is kind of on my list to check out. Let me curtsy cat a little small over here. All right, so before I get to your anime question, I want to. Okay. So this website, I talked about them last time I streamed. They're called Incarnate. You can, I think there might be a free option. I make too many maps to not do the pro option. But also it comes with a whole bunch of things, and we're going to kind of make a map live while we answer some questions. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys the whole process. So once you sign in, I've got folders that's like, I've got a world map where it's all the different world map areas of my world. Hey, Gamer Daddy. These are like individual dungeons, especially, so a lot of these, I got this membership. I was like, it's not world, but I got this membership during the pandemic. And so I made a lot of these maps because we were playing exclusively online. And like all these world map things are in my 5th edition book. Yeah, there's the old one. I haven't touched this in a year. Now, I've got a lot of assets, so it will take a second, but this is more of like what a finished map will look like once it loads all of the assets. Okay, close that. So there's a whole bunch of things that we can work with here. I'm going to try to... So that's the whole map for all intents and purposes. I can add the grid if I want to. I don't want to because this is just a world map piece. But this would be if I want to add land, is what it's on right now for the mask. But here's the select if I want to pick what I'm on. So up here it says I can select all. I can turn them all off, so I can't select anything and just sort of point to show you guys. Otherwise I'll mess stuff up. But if I want to just select any of the text, this will be so I just select the text and nothing else gets pulled. Otherwise, if I do everything and I could select any one of these stupid little houses that are down in here because I had to make like actual little neighborhoods because there's something wrong with me. Don't ask me why. Let me see. Fit screen. Boop. There we go. But I really love this website. I'm just going to do text for now because that's the biggest thing. But you can see I've got my little key up here. All of these things. So like the key and all of the houses to the mountains, all of that is down here in these stamps. And I can, again, I'm super zoomed out because this is a landmass, but you can see that there's stuff. So let's see. If we want to open the catalog. Actually, let me look at this map. My group is adventuring here, and we might want to see if I need to change anything because the world has shifted a little bit. Ooh, they added some fun hotkeys. You guys can't really see them. Let me see, where are we? Right now they're over here in Samhain Hollow. Oh no, they're up here in Morsk. Sundays. And then they're gonna go here, but they just spent like half a week in the city, a little bit in the black market. I forgot I added rivers. Should've. Damn. I really did update this pretty well. Let's say I want to make some more mountains. I just want to make the mountains look more mountainous. Open the catalog! So this is going to be, if I pull this over, this is going to just pull from, I think, everything. So if I search here, I just go, mountain. It's going to find me all the mountains. Let me see. Oh boy. So there's the core set, there's these mountains. This is a temperate place, but there are some rocky ones. Ooh, let's do some large green mountains. Now, I do random stamps, so when I drop them, when I drop one of these, so I'll just show you for an example here, it immediately loads a different one within this set. And so that way, we'll go to a bigger map for this. Let me control Z out of that so there's not a mountain sticking out of the Tabalan water. I don't think I changed anything, so I don't need to save anything. We're just going to go back to our maps because I wanted to make a new one with you guys because they added some new things since I've been here. Oh, God. I really want to go into the sci-fi ones, but I have... Do I have... Because I can pull anything I need from the sci-fi for a fantasy battle map, and vice versa. These just might have more preloaded things. I don't know, what do you guys think, fantasy or sci-fi? I actually don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I'm more familiar with fantasy battle maps. I need to get better at making square maps. We're gonna do a square map. Why not both? I agree. If anyone who's watched my streams know, oh God, it's so gross. If anyone who's watched my streams knows, a lot of my cities kind of exist in this weird fantasy steampunk world. I know this is not the first time I've referenced Indivisible, but it's very indivisible in terms of how it sort of manifests itself. So right now, I believe we're on the... What do we want to do? Background. I think. Oh, I see. Masking just adds anyway. Okay. Hey! So this is Incarnate, and this is what a blank map looks like. When you have the shovel here, add. So obviously, if I click on here, we're going to close this. That is now the foreground, and everything that is now brown is the background. Is the mic very staticky for anyone else? Let's see if I can fix this. Does that sound better? I am using the ball mic. That's why I'm kind of surprised that it's being so finicky. How does this sound? Does this sound better? Where I'm using my theater voice and I'm standing right over the mic. Like how they train you. What? Let me see. 1 second. Going dark. Alright, let's see if that's doing anything. Is this better? It's a very old cable that's holding it in. I don't know where the other one is that has the same input. Otherwise, I'm just going to grab my DM mic and want to use that sucker. So I'm just going to keep adding pieces here while we're figuring out what's going on with the mic. So we got our foreground here and we got our background. Now with our paint, so I can get rid of this horrible brown color. Blue carpet, why would I? Say we're doing a swamp. This one's called Shallow. Sorry, I went through those so quickly. I'm used to this. They've got a ton, as you can see. Let me know if the audio sounds any better eventually, and that nothing else is... Hold just got me and the desktop. Yeah, there's nothing else going on. If I gotta remove this as an audio device and apply it, I will, but is it still staticky for you? I want to make sure you guys can hear me and I don't sound like old-time radio. Oh, weird. Alright, hold on. Whoops. We're gonna see if that helps. Give me 1 second here. Change my video. We're going to unplug this. Yeah, I don't think it was even fully registering that. I know John is watching and just screaming, "Stop it! No! We worked so hard on this." Alright. Hold on. Let's let it register my voice. I'm trying the D&D mic now, but the one that I'm using did not like that. That is so weird. Let's see if this works. Are you getting my voice now? What the fuck? That one is, here we go. Is this, nope, it's a different Yeti. Is it this? Oh, there it is. Oh, can you hear me now with this? Is that a little bit better? But Still staticky and have to max volume to hear you. That's because those are picking me up. I'm trying to get this one to pick me up. All right, hold on.
Can you... How does that sound? Whoops. How does that sound? Is that sound better? Yes. Okay. I just changed it to the webcam. We'll, I had a feeling this would eventually happen. Whenever I do a live update for, not a live update, whenever I do an update for Windows, OBS is like, oh, what are all these weird devices that you have plugged in? I don't recognize any of them. And I'm like, what? What? But, alright, so at least for now we got this, and on Sunday we'll get everything figured out before then. I think I can, like, test stream it. Alright, so I am so sorry. That was a lot of preamble, but I'm going to go till about 2:40. But now that we're out of the static, this is Incarnate. Jesus Christ on a cross. I don't know what we all even missed, but we're going to talk about, someone asked if I had watched any good anime lately. I want to go over some TTRPG horror stories, how to make a map on this site and the fun parts about it, and then answer any Q&A that we might have. So, if you just joined us, great, because I guess it was kind of staticky bullshit before then. But here we are, in Incarnate. Behold, it is, it's a wonderful website. I use it a lot. Let me go back to the catalog real quick. No, take me home. Me. Oh, I'm in, okay. So this is what happens when you sign in. You can get a free or a paid for. That gives you a whole bunch of extra stuff. You can do full world maps, like... I got a full world map. It's been a while since I edited it. Oh, come on, I know you can do it. But you can do full world maps. Return to my maps. Or these are full country maps, where we get a little bit more detail. Or we're going to make a new map, but not in this folder. And it's going to be more of like a battle map. The reason that I had subscribed to these guys in the first place was, one, I needed to make a map for my RPG book, Into the Runeverse, which I plugged originally. But it was staticky, so here's a non-staticky version. Into the Runeverse, it's a 5e book, you should check it out. There's a Kindle version and a PDF version. Those two help us out the most, but we also have a physical book for softcover and hardcover. And those are pretty great as well. Music is by Monument Studios that's playing through the background, but let's get on to making some maps real quick. So I'm going to go fantasy battle maps because I'm more familiar with fantasy. I'm going to check out the sci-fi stuff, but I heard you guys earlier, you guys could at least hear me. Why not both? We might include some sci-fi stuff. Now, since I prefer to play, like, mostly at my table, I usually make these maps to either get ideas out and then I'll build a map off of this, or I'll use this and put it into a book for which I'm writing an adventure for. But let's just jump right in. Let's choose a map. We're going to do square because that's what I want. You can adjust the canvas size once you're in there. All right. Add or subtract. We talked about this. It's in the shovel. Add is what you have to do to make a foreground. Let's do all of this. We can. It looks beautiful, right? So you're like, oh, I don't like that. You can subtract now. And now I've got this generally set to be a little bit more jagged and smaller. But now... Alright, so I just scribbled my hand around. Here's kind of what I'm saying. What is my recommended? I see cell stops Ascalon. I don't know how to help you with that kind of recommended. Yeah, full Star Wars is like the space opera sci-fi fantasy is probably... I can't say that it's my favorite. It's because I don't know. It's like a fantasy. You have to have a fantasy space opera. I think that's my favorite genre. I know that's really weird, but if you wanted to look at like Visions of Escaflowne, I might have said that right. That is, the style isn't exactly like my aesthetic cup of tea, but the general concept, the Thundercats, the Silverhawks. I'm not dating myself because those were old cartoons when I was a kid. You had to hunt for them, but my parents grew up on them, so they showed them to me. Magic guns, exactly. Magic guns. I was gonna say Outlaw Star, which is like, oh my god, that's such a great, beautiful anime. That with more fantasy in it. Like, if I could smash Outlaw Star and Record of Lotus War, but when I say Record of Lotus War, I know it inevitably becomes Slayers. So Record of Lotus War and Slayers and Outlaw Star, like if I could mush those together, that's like kind of my favorite aesthetic for a world. I know that sounds very Final Fantasy-esque, but sometimes I feel Final Fantasy leans too much into like, I don't know, the tech of it. Even when you're watching Outlaw Star, it still feels like a weird fantasy in a way. I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like Xenoblade. Yeah, I think kind of like Xenoblade would be a good description. Some video games really, I think, nail what I'm looking for. Alright, so I know before we said I can't really hear you, I had started to decide what I want to make this background color because I hate this brown. They're like sandy wasteland color. And already I was thinking characters having to walk over these. Again, I just kind of swirled my hand around to make this shape, and I was seeing what came out of it because I didn't have an exact idea. And so I guess I should show this with a subtract. We'll make a big subtract tool. Is that what I'm on right now? Yeah, we'll crank that size up. So now this circle is bigger. I like that curve up here. Damn, I like how all this went. So let's say I want to make a big, subtract a big chunk. I'm like, I don't like this. Fuck it. So now up here, you'll see this star. That shows how rough the sides are. I don't want to smooth the edges, so the way that looks is it's a lot more jagged when I take a chunk out, as opposed to when I tell it to smooth the edges, it looks a little bit more smooth. And this is the size here, so if I want to make it a lot smaller, and I can make the roughness, like, insane. So you do this and you've got practically a perfect circle. Increase the roughness how you want. Let's say I want to start just chunking stuff out here. Now that's smooth. See how it kind of looks like a river? If you do this, if you take the smoothness away, it looks like jagged cliff sides. Do with that what you will. I'm making this a swamp, so I'm going to add the smoothness in, but I'm going to put the roughness about here. That's still too much. Yeah, and I'm going to have, what I'm going to do is kind of wiggle this around a little bit. And this, when I do that, I can make it even smaller. It just looks like those little... Michigan's like a giant swamp, but if you've ever been to a swamp or you live somewhere that's near a swamp... Thank you, Dylan. The ITR book is pretty cool. But if you've ever been to a swamp, especially places where it's been a swamp for a while, but where, I think this is what is technically called a marsh or a quagmire, is where the water's constantly raising and lowering, but it's always kind of swampy. And so you get those, I was about to turn my cup of coffee over to exemplify this, but it's where you get those, like, bumps of land that pop out, and they just kind of litter out over the water, and when you step on them, they kind of squish in under your feet. And so that's what when I'm making my maps, that's what I do to achieve this effect. Again, there's other maps that I'm sure, map making programs that let you do this. And speaking of the ITR book, Dylan, all of the maps in that I made on this program through Incarnate. So let me give my general concept here before I just ADHD hyperfocus. ADHD hyperfocus into making a map. Is I'm thinking of the characters entering either up here or over here in this area. I could put like a nice little gate so they have multiple walkways with which to choose from. This is going to be a pool of water of some sort. If I'm thinking a swamp, we can put something maybe desirable in there. But risky to get to. There might be some enemies. I'll figure that out once I could kind of think things out to play around in my map. And so with that idea, I'm going to use these sort of weird little walkways that have been formed through years of the swamp water raising and lowering. And I'll kind of like pluck and pull in things as you guys see me play around with the stickers. I call them stickers. They call them stamps. But with that idea, I'm going to try and think. This isn't a spoiler if any of my players are watching, because they know that a villain, an adversarial force that they have encountered since early parts of the campaign that they're playing, is connected to an area that literally has marsh as part of its name. So turn that subtractive a little bit. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. In my head, I need to set some sort of like physical parameter. Actually, here's what I can do. I think this map behind me is 60 by 60. We're going to pop the grid on. I don't need to do that, but you can... Here we go. Show the grid. Oh my god, that's entirely too large. Holy fuck. Sorry, pardon my French. That's... Let's do a 20 by 20. Okay. Whoa, okay. Wow. So, and this is for when I'm designing the map. I think my thing is 30 by 30. Sorry, that matters for me because I'm trying to picture this in the full scope of my play map. Hold on, I'm sorry. You guys are going to get a little butt shot here for a second. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's why it looked not quite big enough at 20, but too big at 30. It's 25 by 25. Let's fix that. Okay, that looks right. So in my head, each square, like my maps, is 5 foot per square. And when I'm done with this map, whether I'm going to export it to Roll20, put it in one of my books. If I'm going to put it in one of my books and I were actually going to make this, I'll show you guys how to do that in a little bit. If this were like a map for the DM to use, I would offer a squared version with markers in it, a squared version with no markers in it, if they just want to print that out, or I guess that would be the best way to do it. And then you can find people who fold it out, or you can use a blank version for them to use digitally or whatnot. Did I resize that right? I got on my tangents. Okay. So with that, each of these is 5 feet, and I need to use that to sort of guide how I'm making these. Obviously, if it's like splitting a box, but it's splitting another box, I'm still going to count that as 5 feet, and the player just kind of has to scooch through there if I'm showing my Midwesternness. But for the most part, this looks good. That's a 5-foot walkway, and we want to do things that might deter them from wanting to, I'll just step in the water, is part of my thoughts here. Oh my god. Oh, we're gonna fix that. Sweet lord. I'm a monster. You just click subtract up there instead of having to click over in that thing all the time. We'll put some little decorative moss. I know this is like super intense, but I appreciate everybody who is here. Thank you so much. And this is something that I harp on in, if you watch any of my TikToks or what I need to eventually make my YouTube shorts, are part of making an effective map, an effective encounter map. And I always call them big, just blank white rooms, but if we made it just this blank square open of like wasteland and then you plopped a dragon, yes, a dragon is scary, but a dragon is scarier if the party, so let's get really fucked up with this, okay? Let's make the background actually the top. Okay, let's start thinking about how you can interpret these maps. So let's really make your party hate you, okay? And let's make sure that we're in the background. And keep in mind, that's a general term just so that the program knows if you're doing the part where you have the add shovel or the subtract shovel. Right now we're doing it on the part that you added things onto. So when I do that, see how it only adds that texture? Oh shit, I forgot that they changed how this works. That's only a texture. I need to add a base color first. Here we go. There. So now it's only going to affect that area, so I can just be a wild animal with this. And you can get rid of these like white outlines, you can change them to ripples, you can do whatever. But so originally I talked about it being a swamp. I want you to think about how you could really mess with your players this way. Let's say all of this is like the floor that they had to climb down into, and all of this green stuff now. Oh no, I started to do the thing. So now, down here on the floor, we have all of our players in the light gray. Exactly. Exactly, Gamer Dad. Hey, Rook, how's it going? It's going good. So, Foxden. So, exactly like you said, poison gas, quicksand. So now, I think I can even add, honestly... Hold on, just to exemplify this a little bit more. Let me search... I think they have actual tokens. Hold on. Let's just say... I use dragon as an example. Yeah, so there's a bunch of different dragon options. It's just fantasy battle maps. You can see I can open up fantasy regional, fantasy world. Let's see if there's even any sci-fi dragons. Water cutter. Jesus Lord. I think it should search all those now that I have them open up. No, just fantasy battle maps, huh? Oh, so I just gotta click and it opens them. Fantasy world, heraldic dragons. Whoops. Oh, there's no dragons in that. Haha, I see. I was like, the fuck do you mean? Don't tell me no. I know. I'm like, I know I paid for them. Fantasy World. We don't need those. Fantasy Regional. This is the best one we got. Now, I'm, just for the sake of showing, I'm going to drop this on, like, the highest layer that I can, so everything else goes underneath it. So we got our dragon. If I need to turn him, I can drag him, or there's hotkeys. So now what we have is our dragons up here. Huh. Pepple! Have you ever seen a pepple before, good sir? Oh, that's crazy. I'm surprised by that. Okay, but you guys see what I'm saying? So the dragon can hop around on these raised up black bits, and down here on the bottom floor, like you were saying, it's sinking as we speak. That's great. So like you were saying, what did you say? Poison gas, quicksand. Let's have some fun with this. Let's have some fun with this. Here we go. Fantasy battle maps. Let's serp. I can't talk today. What? Sci-fi battle maps. Poison. Actually, here we go. Acid. Sci-fi battle maps. Watercolor battle maps. Really nothing? Thing might be toxic. Toxic good. Do I have to just go through all these one by one? I will. Oh yeah, show me sci-fi. Arid World City. Ooh, I like these. These are more like themed. There weren't a ton of like urban. I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, here's kind of what I'm thinking. Dark chemical spill. Why didn't you give me that when I... Alright, so down there on the pavement, here's what we'll do. A chemical spill. We're going to put this in the background. And I don't want it to be that big. So now... Oh, shit. No, I did that wrong. Again. So now we want it on the foreground, and now what you said, I can decide, like, okay, so now this dragon is, let's say it's a green dragon. I didn't change, don't know if I can change the color, but I've got my little raised areas here that I've got plenty of little raised for my map, but I know I can do this or make this. Now, the players have to scurry between here, but here's the thing. Some of these areas now have... like, are poisonous to be in. Maybe, like, you see this little area right here. Maybe it's filled with more of this acid or tanglevine growth, difficult terrain, moss that they can slip or slide in, things that maybe it gets on their hands, and, sorry, it's hard to hold on to things. Now... there's something else. I don't know if you can change this in advanced settings. All right, so there's a size. I can actually change how condensed it is. So when I do that, you can see that when going over the more spaced out stuff, it makes it look a little more natural on the edges there. And honestly, someone may never see this map. Likely I'm going to put it in one of my Runa books that I'm trying to make that are I'm trying to make non-system specific Runa books, and I just thought of something here. So, I talked about giving the players numerous options when they enter. Here's something that I'm thinking about with our stamp tool. Hang on, let me fix. We're going to go to our recently used colors, X this out, and I'm going to go over that with the original gray. Actually, just this. So here's what I'm going to do. Something I strongly believe in is linear gameplay. Meaning that as you... Let me check out watercolor battle map. maps. Which means as you play a level, as you play a game, you kind of learn as you go. That's how I design my dungeons, how I design my adventures, to where it's like, unless the point of the story is to have you fight something that you have to learn on the fly, or you're supposed to be incredibly not fucking prepared for, I've done nothing. That's by total design. Like, if there's ever a point where it goes, wow, this kind of feels unfair, I did that on purpose. I never do something to where I'm like, ooh, yeah, I'm trying to kill them. Like, if I make it feel like you're supposed to lose, it's like when you're fighting the RPG boss and it's like, guys, I think we're supposed to lose. It's one of those things, like, you can put up a fight, but I don't purposefully try to be like me against the player. If it's one of those, it feels like we're supposed to lose, yeah, I meant for it to feel that way. If it's a tough fight, I meant for it to be a tough fight. It's one of those, you have to work together as a team to do it. And so with that, with that assumption of, I'm going to introduce small elements of the adventure that get more complex as you go through even if it's dungeon or adventure or complete campaign, things are going to build onto each other to where it's like, okay, in the first room, we just dealt with these mushroom zombies. In the second room, we know there's going to be mushroom zombies. Oh shit, some of them can crawl on the walls now. So now we know in future rooms, there's a chance we could encounter the walker guys, the crawler guys. There could be a different type, or just those two, and bigger or worse versions of just that concept. But you introduce the idea that this base idea can be built off of. Greetings, persons whose name is in black for some reason. I don't know why. But hello. And so with that, I'm choosing an entrance here. Something that we can kind of use as a... It says temple entrances. That makes me think there's a few options. Oh, they're so Aztec. And I don't... Sorry, Mexica. And I'm just not well versed in those creature names, or I just don't want to misdo it. I'm so glad everybody is watching me mispronounce that shit live. Sure, Eastern Doors isn't offensive. Oh, we already did dwarves. Let's look at elven people in my party. No reason to look into that choice at all. So I talked about me wanting the entrance to be here. If I press my, the greater than or less than symbols, you can change the direction that it goes. So we're gonna do... I think that's the way that it started. The way that it's going. Ooh. Sorry, I'm thinking what actually might be kind of fun. Okay. This still goes into it. If a dragon is in this room... Let's try them entering... here. Now I hear you. I hear you barking, big dog. You might say, but TJ, the dragon's right there. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get stamp. We're gonna do this. I think I just have to put cliff. Here we go. There's a lot of good ones in core. Oh, they're all dark though. I want a black one to match. Yeah, here we go. Obsidian, baby. So here's how this is going to work now. I'm going to use this. We're going to flip this over. And again, this may never see the light of day. I might design it to look better when I need something better, but I'm fleshing out some ideas here. So now when I'm looking at this, I know there's a wall here. Dragon can't see. And, oh, that door is fucking huge. 5-foot door, good lord. let's say this is an old elven temple, been taken over by a good old green dragon, or a black dragon, that'd be kind of cool. This is the door. The door, I'm sure many of us here have played Skyrim. We're going to go back to cliff, and here's what I want now. Craggy cliff, and this is just to the texture. So now I can drop this on... Oh, I thought it'd be a lot darker. Here we go. So now what I can do is I'm going to basically build... Let's just focus in on this little area right here. And then I can drag this out some more. This is going to be... So before this room, a few things that I would make very clear to the party when they were in this dungeon is, hey, maybe there's a story, maybe they find a journal, but just letting the players a general heads up of probably a dragon somewhere in here, Holmes. Just heads up, you know, don't do with that what you will, so that when they are continuing on, they're not finding this dragon and they eventually get to this back room, they get the sense that, okay, it's a cavern. This is probably where the dragon is. Maybe they know, maybe you've put something in here that lets them know that the dragon's here. And now this way they know they can step down here, they can step down here. I'm someone who would use my little, like cavern tools that I showed you guys on my last stream for this. So what I'm trying to do is I'm funneling my players. I know that sounds like very predator and prey, but in a way that's how a dragon would design their lair. So you can see they have to step down this way, you know, and if they're players and maybe they do want to fight a dragon, Lord knows I have at least one person on our team who would be like, I'm sorry, you said there's a dragon down here. If you could show me the way, I would greatly appreciate it, would sir. Okay, let me get to my point in a second for why I'm showing these. We're going to make you smaller so it fits in there. Alright, so now if we... Whoops. Fit to screen. What I'm doing here... That's great. Exactly, it's set for invaders, so if it took over this place... I still don't like how big that door is. There we go. Put it right there, and we're going to turn it one more that way. Right there. So now the players are going to enter, and I think I can see one more thing I'm going to do here with the cliffs. And again, this is controlling how the players are going to be able to perceive but also interact with this dungeon. And some of the the details that I put in don't always make it onto the final. Like, I might describe this whole front area, but I'm going to have it ready because you're going to see once we get to the encounter kind of what I'm thinking here. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then there's a dragon blowing up my ass. And other classics. Alright, now I actually need that bigger. That's what she said. That's what she said. Okay. I think I'm liking where this is looking right now. Actually, I see one last little if a player's feeling brave enough area. All right. So, here's what we got. Oops. The players enter up here. They are in a raised area, and they can see that there's multiple ways down, but all of these black areas, all the way up, too high up, but they get a sense perhaps it's dark, they know something's up there, maybe there's a lot of underbrush, a moss, stuff like that. There's always at least one dragon hunter in the party, exactly. So here's what's going to happen now. I want more green. Whoa. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Let's turn that opacity down a little bit, though. Let's just say that we're doing a black dragon. Sorry, I'm adding pretty much everything I need. I wasn't planning on making a full map. I mentioned this at the start when I was really staticky. But I was going to do an art stream today, but the one piece that I'm missing, I just decided that we're going to be some nerds together. All right. We are going to save this because I'm actually really liking this map. New map. We're going to call this the Dream map. Stream map 1. What's the date today? The 23rd? Cool. Now this might take a second, but we're finally there. I've got all my details that I want. So the party enters. They can see that there's only ways down, especially if you're doing like a black or a green dragon, especially a black dragon. Maybe they've been going through a swamp. You've hopefully drained some of their resources by now, but swamps can add a lot of extra special effects for them. But when they come in here, they're raised, but they see they have to descend down into darker areas. And I know there's going to be someone who's like, but I got dark vision. I got dark vision. It's like, but you can't see everything, and it's only up to a certain area. Pardon me. I got players who will remind me they have dark vision, but you know, that doesn't let people see through things. You can't see through vines. You can't see through bushes. But zooming in at this map, so our players enter here, and they can go down this way. Let me take that off now. So they can go any one of these ways. You've given them some options. If you have a ranger, a survivalist in the group, this is where they can shine, maybe discern which way is the safest. But eventually, no matter which way they descend, they're going to run into these little acid pools, these little, you can make them forest splotches, you can make them poisonous pools of water, whatever might have you, some sort of environmental hazard, but they don't have arrows volleying at them, they're not just like having acid dumped on their face. They very naturally come into this area. Maybe they come right in here, someone rolls a nat 1 on a survival, you fall into the acid. Or the weird fairy plants that are giving you strange mind effects, things like that, without getting to make a save. You know, little weird environmental things to where they can see, oh, that's what happens, that's what's not good. Sometimes if you want to induce an effect, and this is just a little GM thing I like to do, Kobold Press will do this too, and I've seen it in a few other books. I think some official Wizards of the Coast book stuff, but I don't really care about officials, not really, they don't get to claim that anymore. but I like effects that will say things like if they fail to save by 5 or more, which I think is a great little thing to be like, this is a crit fail. Like, you failed it so bad that a deeper effect happens. So maybe it's a, you know, they experience just a lesser effect, and then there can be even worse effects if they fail it by 5 or more after rolling an @1, things like that. But, you know, either way they go, they'll encounter it very naturally, one way or the other. And a @1 can, you know, give them a better encounter with it, but let's see. Oh, I can't pull the map. I hate that. That is the one thing I don't like about this, is I can't pull the map. But if they go this way, you'll see, while it's the least amount of time, there's no, like, raise up. They just walk into it. So this drops them down into it. You can see this is the safest route, but what does it do? It brings you right around the corner to where the dragon is. Because you got to remember, there's a blind wall here. So unless you have a dragon hunter, or people have something up that lets them prepare for knowing there's a dragon around, this could be a total turn the corner, dragon sleeping, and now suddenly everyone's like, maybe the bard cannot help but be playing music all the time, and maybe they're arguing, and the DM is like, hey, you guys have to roll a stealth check at disadvantage now because you didn't realize the dragon was right there. There's so many fun sort of like encounter moments that you can really, you know, let's say they're sleeping right here around the corner. Okay, there we go. And so the party has to encounter them, or they're trying to fight the dragon. Maybe they decide they want to go this way, and they discover that there's some little hidden areas over here, some alcoves. Again, we talked about how maybe the affected areas aren't like physically damaging, but they affect like your ability to hold on to weapons, or anything you hold in your hands, potions even. You have a chance of, when you use them, you have to roll a percentage dice. Don't even make it too high, 30%. Roll a 30 or lower on your dice, you drop a potion. You have disadvantage on all melee, on all weapon attacks. Even somatic components could be a disadvantage because you're just like slimed and gooped from the algae that's all over the place. But if they explore far enough, either through this little route, which again, you have to encounter the stuff directly, but it also lets you go to this little safe haven back here that the dragon doesn't make you encounter the dragon. Here's my general thought process, is we can put something else here, that keep the dragon from this general little area. We can put in a wall, we can put in pebbles, Jesus Christ. We can put in whatever it might be that keeps the dragon from being able to access this back area over here. I mean, let's just make it easy for now. Oh, whoops, that's right. And we'll just add some walls. We already kind of established that the dragon can't go through them. I don't mind that I'm covering up those little holes. Alright. So here's what we're going to have. I think I can push these down into the background so that they go underneath, but it doesn't matter. If they go around this way, we'll say there's a little, like, human-sized, person-sized entryway underneath all these arches that lets them go in. And you can see if they had pushed through this again, there's a little safe area that the dragon can't reach either. We'll say the dragon with a big enough save can push through the archways, just for the sake of fun effect in the fight. But this way they organically encounter the dragon. After, I guess this way they don't, but they're going to encounter the dragon and then be forced into this. They either have to run back to an area the dragon can't reach, or and, you know, fight it here and sort of deal with all of this, which will get you into the safe area. But again, it would not be fun trying to have to escape a dragon running through, like, waist-deep goop. And I guess sort of with all of this before me now, looking at it, saving it, and we'll give it one more glance. I'll save it for later. But this general idea to where I guess we would want to put another little wall here. But this way now, the dragon, while the party is down in this area, unless they can hide in that, let's say they can even turn and get like a breath weapon down this hallway to where like over here is really the only safe spot. They can hop around on all of this, maybe not that. And now the players have a safe haven. The dragon can't get back in this little corner. And we can even, if we need visuals, we can add more obsidian walls here. But you have now given yourself basically a kill box with a little safe zone. And you can add slimes, other whatever oozes you want. You can add any other minions that, especially, listen, like I said, this should not be the only or first room in a dungeon. So if you have used, not even enemies, if you have used anything to lower their resources up to this point, throw it in this room. Any minions that may be serving the dragon, or just maybe mindless things that the dragon doesn't mind, but it, you know, maybe they can't reach it, but they just wander around these bottom areas. Maybe they do listen to the dragon. Maybe they're just slimes that the dragon also eats. And then I think, yeah, sorry, where's the fit to screen again? And then like right over here, you can put some sort of exit the dragon's way in and out. Maybe their horde is somewhere back over there as well. But I'm very happy with this. This is how I use the incarnate. Where the is fit the screen? Hold on. Okay. Of course. Let's return to maps. Yeah, I don't need to save anything. So now I got that stream map there. I got everything. Here's a fight. I designed this for, like I was talking about, just for example, this was a whole map that I designed for a live session that we did, and I just used the picture as reference, and it was just like I would have little areas, and if I wanted to, you can see this text. So I want to add it on layer 4. I can put whatever I want, so I could put, say, like, how do I edit that? Right here. So I could put, like, Ghoul Boss CR5. And so now, this would obviously be... Doesn't that look good? So obviously this would be the DM's map, but if it's like the party starts somewhere, let's say they start in these cells over here, they enter through like a weird little entrance in one of these little areas or through a hole. I think this was actually the entrance. Let's say we want to put the ghoul boss, like, not the girl boss, the ghoul boss. Somewhere over here. Ah, I don't like... Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So, for example, we have our ghoul boss here. It's so silly to say that. And so now the party's got to work through, but I know that they're going to be here. Let's say I want to... I wanted to say... Poison gas trap. DC 17. And again, obviously, I'm getting... Whoops, did I just mess that up? Yeah. So, you know, I'm getting lost in the weeds here. But these are all things that I can leave and put in my notes that I have. And I have a high-quality version, so even to where I might not necessarily be, like, following this exactly, what I am doing is I'm able to describe to my party, okay, you guys walking through a large... like circle archway with like a loose pebblework beneath you, which may at one time have been like a well-kept walkway, but now has been lost to nature, much like the rest of this tunnel system. And now I can be like, you know, there's a larger cutoff that looks to fall into a sort of inner pond, inner lake, and a small drop down to your right when you guys enter. And now I can just keep describing as things go on, where things might be, if I want to put an exact X, things like that. But I really recommend Incarnate. Great program, great to use. But I am going to save that. Cancel! I want to save it, jeez. Alright. I've made Dylan wait forever. He asked if I've seen any good anime lately. And the answer is always, I'm behind on a lot. I binged JJK Season 2 way quicker than so much quicker than I thought I would. I was going to be like, I'll do 1, I'll do 2, and then I watched like 3 of them in a row, and I'm like, I'll wait. And then I just found like one day off, and it was one of those continue watching on my Fire Stick. And it was like a picture of, I think it might have been Toto, and I went, oh. Yeah. Yep, we are. And so I watched like the next like 6 episodes. I love it. I'm excited if the animation quality kind of jumps closer to... My dogs are losing their mind. I know that's a weird animation company name. If the animation quality for Season 1 jumps to... the animation quality gets closer to Season 1... than it did for Season 2, because I know they switched companies. It just didn't look quite as good, because the artist, I think Ueta, is who I think is probably the most technically talented manga artist out there right now. That's just a personal opinion, but they are so good. Hold on. Let me see. It's hard to find this in print anymore. I've got the whole collection. But this manga, this is what they worked on before... Hold on. This is what they illustrated before One Punch Man. This guy's artwork is... It's... the chills. Like, he's just so good. He's so good. Look at all that. There's just one guy. Murata's the writer. Hold on. Can I please have the English? No, the art is Murata. Okay, Inagaki is the writer. Yeah, Murata is... Again, personal opinion, the best, the most technically talented artist currently. Personal opinion. This character is right behind Vash the Stampede. He's the quarterback of the team. He is my favorite manga character right behind Comic Vash. It goes Comic Book Vash, Hiruma, Yoichi Hiruma, and then I can't think of who my next favorite manga character is. Maybe Vegeta, maybe. But yeah, it is. iShield 21 is gorgeous, and it is actually the only reason that I got into American football. That's one of the silliest statements I could probably... Let's see if we can just get some nice... Show me those images, baby! It's just so good because they take the extreme physical nature of American football, and you can see it right here. Let's see if I can get somewhat close with this. Damn it, not really. He really likes to... Okay, it is bigger when I do that. He gets so extreme with the artwork, Murata. It's so... Or the angles. And he has so much fun with it, because with football... And you don't really think... I mean, you might think about it, but as an artist, like with football, when you're down there in it, it's nothing but angles. Like, where's like... let me see if I can get one of all the main cast here. It's so good. Like, this is a lot... Pretty much, by the end of the story, I think this is everybody. They have the little torpedo guy. No, but they got the guy with the funny face. Sena Kobayashi, the main character, has one of the best, like, character growths. Oh my god, perfect. Okay. So, I am getting closer, oh my gosh! Okay. Senna, fantastic. Great. The way that they... Does it still work if you already like American football? Yes! Oh my god, you probably would appreciate it... You would probably appreciate this series to such an exponentially greater level if you like both manga and American football. I will say, I think the manga is better than the anime. The anime is a little older at this point, so for the time it looked pretty good, but now it looks a little dated. It still holds up. My son and I watched it for a little bit. But the comic... Oh my god. And the anime doesn't go as far as the story in the manga does. But everybody here is on the team. This is kind of like the main group for probably, honestly, I'd say the first... Oh wait, no, they don't have the Kiki guy on here. Probably the first, like, third of the story. This is like the main group. That's like his best friend. I guess there's minor spoilers in this picture. Who's this redhead guy? Oh, that's the other Yaha brother. Yeah, great show. The character that's like the bully is like not so much the bully, and they do like fun little hints about it along the... Can you tell how much I fucking love love this? Let me see how this one looks. It's so good. It's so beautiful. And it's the way that Senna envisions running through crowds is how my brain always envisioned, like, dipping and ducking through people, because I was always very good at getting lost from the rest of, like, my group whenever my class, or, like, even in college, my group would go on outings. I would just be like, hey, I'll find you guys in 15 minutes. Where do we want to meet? And I would just disappear in the crowd. And then I would read iShield 21, and the way that he envisions seeing his route, I'm like, oh my god, I feel so seen, no pun intended. This is like so validating. As a tiny, fast guy, Senna made me feel like, hey, cool, alright, I don't have to be some jacked up, like, Toriko or Dragon Ball looking character to be an effective athlete, you know, and that's kind of like a big part of his inner struggle, especially for like the first third, maybe not half, probably half, honestly, but they have to go against like an American team. At one point they join the let me see if I can find, hold on, I didn't mean to get this sidetracked. Tokyo Cup. This is what takes up the bulk of the storyline, is the Tokyo Cup. Just want to see if I can find a non... Yeah, I think that the Tokyo Cup is kind of like halfway through where the anime ends, but I heard little birds whisper that this might be getting a reboot. Yeah, it's... let me get at least this other picture up. It's gorgeous. I cannot wreck this in it. Is it before Barry Sanders? Because that would have been a great time to get into football. So this was... I literally just have the manga over here. It'll tell me the copyright. First English printing, because I was one of those kids. 2002. Wait, let me make sure that's the only copyright here. Oh, wow. So this came out... This came out almost right away. Okay. Cool. This is what he worked on before One Punch Man. So, again, this is his artwork at the beginning. You can see where it starts, but by the end, it is undoubtedly Murata, his art. You can see it here. This is closer to when One Punch Man was happening, but they'll reference Barry Sanders. They reference Joe Montana. It's just fun. I cannot recommend iShield 21 enough. Again, the manga over the anime. The anime's fun, but just something about the artwork of Murata is so dynamic that it's, I would argue, it is near impossible to capture it in animation unless you guys are putting the effort and money into it that, like, season 1 of One Punch Man got. That's why season 1 of One Punch Man looks fucking incredible, because Murata's artwork looks fucking incredible, and you need an equally talented and overworked animation studio to pull that off. I hate to say it that way, but it's like certain traditional artists are just too good for like half-ass, I don't want to say half-ass, for non-over-the-top animation to be able to capture it. I love it, but they reference a ton of football stuff. What's really cool, I don't know if they have any in this, hold on, is throughout the book, they will constantly go over the rules of football. They will talk about, like, wait, why did I just get that call? Because the referee just called that on me. And the main Yoichi, he'll be like, this is why, you idiot, because he talks to everybody like that. But, not so much in the early chapters, but here in between each chapter, they'll have, like, this is so-and-so's room, this is so-and-so's, stuff like that. But towards, especially the Tokyo Bowl, did I say Tokyo Cup? Maybe I should try Tokyo Bowl. There's just a picture of all the teams. There's like 26 teams, and obviously they don't have to go against all of them, but some of the volumes are just like, this is this guy right here. I'm not ruining anything by showing you volume 2 of 36. And again, if you're looking for something to get into, if you got some time to kill, 36 chapters or 36 volumes. There's entire volumes. I think some games are 2 volumes long. These guys are the Shoujo White Knights, and they're like, you know, each team has their own theme. Each player, not each player, but every like star player on the team has like a special move. Like, this is Shin, and he's kind of like the mild, he's one of 2 rivals for the main character, but he's like the athlete of Japan, and he's got what's called the trident tackle, and he like just wham, like just tackles people and can take anybody out. He's one of those, like, he's very much a Bruce Lee reference. But throughout the series, he's like so serious, and a constant gag is he is remarkably bad with technology. And so every time somebody who doesn't know is like, oh my gosh, I have to go stop them. Shin, hold this. And they'll just like run away. And he'll literally look down at it and it will shatter, literally just fall apart in his hands. And because he's so serious all the time, he'll just look at it and then start chasing after the person that gave it to him. Like, I don't know what to do. It's so good. It's so good. Oh God. I didn't think this was going to turn into an iShield 21 stream. One of the best gags in this book is if Waterdallen isn't watching, don't bring up your lie in April. I'm still not emotionally repaired from that after like 3 years. One of the best gags in this show is when they play against an American team and they play against an American team. This is such a great like dig at Americans. Is they meet these brothers, which they're like these big, like these two big. They're linebackers, and they're defensive line, and they've got a muscle. And he's like, "Look at this!" And there's one guy in the team who's like an otaku, and he like, yes, I translated there, and he's got like the glasses, and he's like, I translated their stuff personally from kanji, so it's accurate. And they're like, yeah, do you guys like it? And they're showing it to the Japanese team, and he was supposed to say big muscle, but the kanji for muscle and poop he mixed up, so or it might have been big brother, whatever it is, but his kanji comes out to big poop, and he's like, yeah, it says big strong guy, or like the strongest one, and it just says big poop. And then his little brother, who's also on the defensive line, is like, and I'm the little brother, and his says little p when you translate it directly into kanji, but the joke is Americans always mistranslate things into kanji and then put it on their body. I think they get even worse ones when you meet them later in the story. It's so good. It's so good, guys. Check out iShield 21. All right, RPG horror stories. Yeah, it is, guys. It is. Oh, maybe we'll do a little bit of iShield 21 read with me if I can find like a safe website that's not going to absolutely destroy my computer, because I don't know if it's on the Shonen Jump archives. It is. That's why it's so funny. It's so true. Like, it's one of the best jokes that is still, like, just thinking about it. Like you saw, I can't help but fucking laugh at it. It makes me giggle. Alright. We don't need that open. I'm going to keep that open so I can kind of drool over it later. Let's close on one or two RPG horror stories before I go and pick up my son from school. Alright, this was where I started. Wait. Probably the worst game of Pathfinder 2 I have ever played. Oh wait, no. I still wanted to answer an anime or two question. JJK Season 2. Not recently, but I saw The Boy and the Heron. I'm trying to get back into Dragon Ball, like the OG Dragon Ball, but I'm also trying to watch Record of Lodoss War again. Which is quicker, so I'm probably going to try and knock that out. And then I want to get through Slayers with my son. I want to do that because it's such a classic. Yeah, you should see if they have it. iShield 21 is mwah, it's beautiful. And if you can get the Viz official translation, it's really good. They did a great job. It's not like the JJK translations. The iShield 21 ones are really good. Way back in the day, it was one of their first, like, when the big wave of manga came over. Love it. I'm trying to think anything else. I've been watching Invincible Season 2, Has Been Hotel, but those are all American. Vox Machina, I keep rewatching that. On my anime, I moved upstairs. I've been reading so much manga lately. I've been rereading all of JJK. I've been rereading a lot of the One Piece stuff. I don't want to get into One Piece stuff right now, but ooh. You guys. I haven't watched any of like the super big, and I'm so behind on Demon Slayer. I think it's because I read the whole manga, so I'm like, okay, I'll just watch the anime when I want to. I'm really excited because I think next month is when nationwide certain theaters start playing Ghibli movies again. And so I'm really looking forward to that, just to go check them. I love watching them in the big screen. I saw Princess Mononoke when it first came out in theaters back in like 2002 in like Royal Oak, Michigan at the little art theater they got there. Oh, before they opened the big one right behind it. It's such an experience. And the music agrees with me. Okay. This is going to hurt my soul. I've only played one game of Pathfinder 2e. You can find it somewhere, maybe on our YouTube channel. I might have not made it public because of how badly I fucked it up. But I designed a Pathfinder 2e encounter, like a 5e encounter for Dungeons & Dragons, and they are not the same game. Pathfinder 2e is... Pathfinder is a much more deadly game. It is designed to just be a, if you're not careful, you will die, especially through mid-game. Once you get to like the mid-levels, things can get a little wonky, but there's a lot of ability damage, there's a lot of harsher penalties for conditions, and so if you don't read all of the shit that the monsters can do, you can easily throw too much shit at a low-level party and just wipe the party clean. And so, yeah, it's crunchier and involved, but if you have a lot of the sort of basic stuff off the top of your noggin, you know, right off the cuff, it's usually pretty good. I'm sure some people have already started reading, but I'll get into this before I get into Pathfinder. I mostly blame the GM. A lot of it happens that way more than the system, but the horror really comes from the combination. A few months ago, I was getting thirsty, but I'll go get a water after this. Never mind, I'll get a water right here. Alright, gotta get on that water kick. A few months ago, I really got into 2E. I read up a lot on Archives of Nethys, which, by the way, you know how we showed the 5E SRD a few weeks ago, where you can get all your 5th edition reference? Archives of Nethys has everything for free to reference for Pathfinder 2E. And I played some online one-shots, but never a campaign, though I eventually got into a campaign. During Session 0, we met each other, chatted, made characters, etc. We were already all pretty new, and the GM knew that. The GM also introduced themselves, and they were pretty cool from my messages with them and during the Session 0. They did say they follow rules as written closely. I'm kind of middle on the road on that. Which was maybe a yellow flag. Yeah, okay, so there you go. But I know 2E has some good and clear rules that like being followed, so I don't think much of it I should have. Okay. I think that's fair. A lot of Pathfinder, like you said, it's more involved. There are some rules that I think are so integral to the engine of the game working effectively that if you bend it too much, you're like, you've broken such an important predecessor foundational rule that a lot of the rest of the game is going to be like, but that one time. Some stuff you just don't mess with. Session 1 came around, I was really excited. They started us right at the quest area and immediately had us fight some undead and introduce our characters as it came to our turn. I like that. It's a way cool to do an intro. My turn came first, dual-wielding ranger. For context, 2E is a 3-action system. Most things require an action, but most require 2 or 3. I like that. The game that I'm working on has a major action, a minor action, and then you have like a bonus and some free stuff to work with after that. You can also sacrifice your major action to do other stuff. I don't need to talk about that right now. We'll look at my game system next week. But I think that's a great way to do an intro. Pause here. I know you guys have probably read all the way up anyway, but... And we'll do this too. Perfect. Okay. I think intros, there's always the classic, we're in a bar, you're in a tavern, you encounter each other being drawn here by the same quest. I like that one because it's an easy buy-in for a lot of people. What I've started to do, I should have had this open, but I didn't think of it till I read the story, is I make a player's handbook on Google Docs, and it's usually only like 3 pages long. And 1.5 of those pages is usually like a 3-sentence thing of your story hook. So like, merchant, you've been selling things and it's brought you to town. Whispers of story hook of things that would bring their character here and has to do with the adventure I have written, inserted blank. Guard, you're one of the new recruits for the town guard, and you have been positioned. Place where I want the first encounter to happen of the adventure is here. You know, whatever it might be. You're a private investigator. You know, certain things to where it's like a minor thing that won't influence your backstory too much, but gives you an immediate buy-in, and all of the other buy-ins would have a minor connection to you. So everyone would be like, oh, it's so-and-so from the general goods store. It's the fisherman from down the way who occasionally talks about like this crazy shit he encounters on the water. It's the cleric who's been wanting to get more into, so you know, whatever it might be. It's you guys all have reasons to know each other. It's easy buy-ins. I think this is great. You're right there. You get to introduce yourself by doing some cool shit. Moving up. I asked if my swords were already drawn since we were about to go into a probably dangerous cave. They said no. I would argue if you're a ranger, probably. So I had to spend my whole turn drawing both swords. I would check the rules on Tui on this, but I would say that you could use maybe half your movement to schwink draw both. And put hunting prey on one of the skeletons. Nah. You should be able to put hunting prey on your skeleton, half movement, goblin raider attack on the tavern. That's great. Play the undead way more smart than they should have been. The skeletons firing arrows, the zombies just staying in place. I thought it could be interesting, but they were more tactical due to a necromancer mastermind or something. I would count that. Okay, here's the thing. If they're skeleton archers, I would assume there's probably a necromancer. Yeah. Bombastic side-eye. And so what I would say is, to the ranger, sacrifice half your movement if the rules is written purely like if we're going raw, says I cannot do all of this and still do something else, then I would say, cool, let's bend the rules like this. Now everybody else knows this is kind of the house rule homebrew take on this moving forward. Half your move, if like you originally have to spend blank amount of your action and economy to draw both your weapons and do blank, you have to sacrifice half your movement speed to do it and do whatever else you wanted to do. That seems fair. Everybody is capable of doing it, and everybody in their own relative sense has to sacrifice their same resources to do it. Seems fair? Seems fair. Okay. But I think that this part, playing them more tactical because there's a necromancer following them, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Now, if you're only level 1, I hope they have a cleric on the team, or you've given them a fighter, but you said dual-wield ranger should be able to handle skeletons really handily. The witch's turn came next, and she asked if undead were usually the smart. The GM said that's a recall knowledge, which led them to roll behind the screen. Literally, we were all doing video call, and they told her she was unsure. She wanted them to then stride toward and cast stride as movement. A 2-action spell, don't remember which, but GM said you have 2 actions left because you used your first to do a recall knowledge. They didn't even warn or confirm with her. If I was already such a stickler for action economy with the previous player, I would have warned them beforehand. Especially because Pathfinder is such a gotta use your action economy smartly. Now, like, I will admit openly, especially because we often have Mike and John from the stream listening, the wrestler class, and I've gotten this way with Talani recently too, but she's playing the one that I've built out more than the one that Mike and I were game testing, and John just plays monks, so I have to keep my eye on the action economy because they're monks. I will often be like, okay, but you just did this, or how much does that cost for action economy, or what do you have left? But my table is all really good about nickel and diming how they use their stuff, but I will often remind my people that you've got this much left, you got that. or my players will stay on top of it, but it seems weird that they wouldn't bring it up again. It feels like a weird, aha, gotcha moment. Action economy is how I'm going to win this, and it feels like you're trying to win against the players. The next instance was the skeletons. Focus firing the alchemist. See, going down in Pathfinder 2 is bad news, so the witch thought to use her familiar to use feed and a lick. That's a great idea. That's a great thing. Use your familiar. Go feed them. I think that's weird that you're using the skeletons. The GM just said you can't do that. Why not? The witch apologized and asked why, and the GM went on a long rules tangent that she'd need to take the backpack down. They need to interact. Didn't have manual dexterity, and that familiars don't even activate to use the potion. I remember specifically that I could see your eyes glazing over the video call. I just cast Magic Missile. Like, and anyone who plays with me or has watched my streams know that while I'm not a raw, like, I do not do rules as written, I am very much a... Well, what does the rule say? It's like, what is the... This is how you can tell that I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's like, well, what does the card say? Does it have X word in the description, in the descriptor? And usually I'm looking for a word or a block of words to be like, okay, well, it says that, and then I'll move forward from there with my decision, but... this feels so weird. This feels such like a weird... flex. I don't see Magic Missile on your spell list. Just... just let them cast Magic Missile! The witch was speechless. I am too. I had no idea what GM was on, and they just kept repeatedly emphasizing Magic Missile, fully halting the game and looking frustrated doing it. Just let them cast the fucking spell. Oh my god. My brain hurts. That is, I've been lucky. I have only had 4 DMs in my time. All people that I know, all people that I love. Yeah, I'm taking psychic damage through this, man. After a few repeats, I just asked something about Force Barrage, and they said, there you go, exasperatedly. Bro, I thought they were joking. Is this just because... Oh my god. Magic Missile, fully hating the game and looking frustrated doing it. After a few repeats... Hold on, let's get to this in a second. I just asked something about Force Barrage. I said, there you go, exasperatedly. Bro, I thought you were joking. For context, Paizo remastered 2E after the OGL, even back in 20E, and renamed a few things, so really cover their asses legally. It's been established that old pre-master content still works in games, so you don't have to buy the new books. I just bought the new core in case the players needed stuff. So they didn't... Holy shit. Reading, literally, like, my brain reading and processing the sentence in order to convey it, like, auditorily out of my fucking mouth. Like, it hurts me to read it. I have never met somebody this pedantic. So because 2E, after Wizards of the Coast released, pre-release everything in 2020, I think they were just in the middle of changing everything already. So they were like, we're not changing it back. They renamed some spells. And because she's like, I cast Magic Missile, the DM was like, she's like, I cast Magic Missile, and the DM's like, and she goes, Force Barrage? And the DM goes, there we go, all right. Like, I'm sorry, are you a fucking computer? Because at this point, you're a shitty, old computer. Because even newer computers have garbage AI that are like, you're saying Magic Missile, but playing Pathfinder. Do you mean Force Barrage? Like, holy shit. Are you so incapable as an adult that you cannot be like, oh, you mean force barrage? And like, oh yeah, sorry. And it's like, oh dude, I'm trying to get better at it, so I'm just trying to get the lingo in my games. Dude, everybody's on the same page then. Instead, you got to be a fucking asshole about it. Like, I want your game. I hope everybody at the table starts calling it Magic Missile now. Let's see how this goes. Anyway, the rest of the fight was a slog, while me having to stride thrice since the undead were more than 50 feet away and my short swords being resisted by the skeletons. The alchemist was strained because they needed to heal themselves, and the barb kept getting grabbed by the zombies, but managed to finish the fight with massive damage. Yeah, I cannot. I cannot. I can't. Even the pettiest of DM moments, I cannot see myself doing this. And like I said, I've had only 4 DMs, and they've all been great. Even the most, like, inexperienced one, who was just having more fun narratively exploring an idea that they had for only, like, 2 sessions, like, they were fine. They were great. And the other 3 are, like, people who have DM'd, like, for over a decade each. So they are also fantastic and work around the rules because they try to understand them. So like I was saying, if you have a massive damage dealer, you can push through, and that's what they did. Yeah, you should throw, like, 2 undead archers and, like, 3 zombies. Because the zombies, the barb can take out, and the alchemist or the ranger can just, like, deal with them. Nope, the archers, no problem. Oh, that's so aggravating. Session ended after the fight. We all kind of just said, thanks for the game, and left the video call quickly. Maybe I could have talked to the GM about the session, but I kind of just made up an excuse about scheduling and left the campaign. I don't know how the others are doing, but I have a bad feeling about this. Put 2E, especially Witch. Small edit for context. Witch was not allowed to talk back the RK even after finding out you shouldn't be given the power of a dungeon master. I didn't convey it well because the whole text was terrible tone. But the way the GM insistently talked about Magic Missile was in the same sarcastic tone as the, I don't know, can you? When someone asked if they can use the bathroom. Oh god, I hope it fell apart. Pathfinder 2E is some tight combat rules. OP. First combat since I had one-shots. Read at the rules again, I saw that, yeah, if you have your gear stowed, you'd need to do that much to draw them, but me personally... Yeah, so what, dude? Thank you. Weapons have, unless they're like, they have to put them away for something, they're drawn. And yes, in Pathfinder 2E, they do blunt weapons. Like, it's, bludgeoning damage is better. It's, oh my god, this DM is just a fucking, you're a bag of dicks. A bag of dicks and rats. Let me see, there were 2 more. You know what, this is important. Oh, it's just a guide. Never mind. It's how to write them. We will not read that. I know, that's why it sucks so much, dude. It's everybody involved is having a bad time. Shake the bag up a little bit, just jiggle it around, see what horrible chimeras come out of that. Alright. Problem player ditches session 0 and freaked out on their character didn't work. Let me take a quick little break to eat something. I'll even eat it. Where's my image slideshow? Alright, well, I'm going to do this real quick, and then I'll be right back. hi. How's everybody doing? There we go. Okay. Let's pop this sucker back up. I run a yearly summer campaign. This is going to be ranty because my player's been driving me 3 years. Okay, so it's a yearly summer campaign that I... For about 8 friends every year, and in general, it's wonderful, but I have one player who drives me completely up the wall. The long and the short of it is that you've already read on the sub. He's constantly late to sessions. He butts in and interrupts during the other PC's character moments. Simultaneously has no idea how the game works, yet constantly disputes my rulings. I have some feelings about that. We had an issue last year wherein I found out in the final arc of our campaign he hadn't been counting his spell slots and been casting up to 30 spells per long rest as a warlock. He often does stuff like that accidentally, which give him an extremely unfair advantage over my other players. Needless to say, I have never been a fan of his main character syndrome playstyle, in which he insists on always being the coolest person at the table, at the behest of other players, but it was generally manageable. So I guess I had 5 DMs because my wife DM'd a session too, and she was great. We had a problem player in that campaign where they were playing a homebrew class. Yeah. They were playing a homebrew race, not class. Oh no, both. A race and class. And they kept switching off between what edition of the homebrew class they were doing that they found. And they were playing like a mini lich, and basically when they died, they had to get reborn by their phylactery. And they died because they didn't warn anybody that they were an undead, and someone tried to heal them, and it hurt them. And they died, and they're like, I gotta wait 4 days to adventure again? My wife was like, I mean, you kind of knew this. You get a bunch of advantages. You just wanted it to be a secret that you were a lich in disguise. And so when someone tried to heal you, you didn't warn them, and then you're only level 1, so you died right away. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, oh man, so it was just that for like 5 sessions, and then she couldn't handle it anymore. Anyway, after that happened this week, I'm trying to figure out how to ask him to leave the table without causing issues with the friend group. My table always does a session 0 in which we make characters together, talk about the setting, and do a bit of interweaving of backstories. This year was particularly important because the setting is a very specific low magic and limited races, and just handled in a standard character might not fit into this world. Our problem player didn't seem to think so, though, because he didn't show up. No warning, no text beforehand, just completely ditched, which is already annoying because it feels disrespectful to the time I put into planning, making a setting brief, and little games to play to help players with character creation and stuff. That's true. If you're like... If you know you can't make it, literally be like, hey, I can't make it, I'm sorry. Cool, they probably have something for you to just, like, check out. But if you just, like, ditch them, that's not cool. When I texted him about it, he said he already knew how to make a character demonstrably untrue and didn't need to come. Ignoring the fact that he didn't know how to make the setting we're playing in, I also use Session 0 to make sure the players have a chance to say if there's anything they don't want to see in the campaign, so this player also felt that he didn't need to be there to make sure that he was aware of the boundaries of his table mates. Cool. Yeah, I agree, Gamer Daddy. Against my better judgment, I sent him all the info he would need for character creation, including the lore of the setting, the rulers for magic since it's a low magic campaign, etc. I also specified that I wanted paper character sheets, no use of generator like D&D Beyond, and that we use point buy. My reasoning for this is that most of my players don't play D&D at all apart from my campaigns, so they don't fully understand the game. Yeah, doing it by hand helps you learn quicker. Since I have a large table, I can't help everyone at once, and I find that by making your character pen and paper with the books, yep, just what I said, they function better, which leads to a smoother, more fun game for everybody. This player sends me his character hours before our first session, and I'm wondering if he even read my text. He's giving me a sheet that is clearly from D&D Beyond. It's notable that he also did this last year, as in he made a character in D&D Beyond from this point at the table during Session 0 while I was helping everyone else do pen and paper. He could have asked me to help. He actively chose not to. It's not the technology I have an issue with. It's the fact that he refuses to, A, make his character so he understands how they function, and B, that his character is collaborative with the rest of the party. Yeah. His character also has a 4/18s for stats, and I'm not great with math, but I don't think point buy allows that. No, he picked out a race that I asked not to play. Any one of these things on their own would have been fine, but all of them together, yeah, he was actively ignoring everything. He did not include his backstory, which was meant to set me up. I ask people, even if they can't make it, I'm like, please send me at least 5 sentences about their backstory before session 0, even if you're not there, so I can write things in. I've never not had somebody do that. Even if it's hours before, it's something. But not everything. I've never had people, like, dump everything hours before. Usually they tell me some things to expect. And just, like, I don't see full numbers. The Need to Be On thing was an unwinnable battle, so I just pointed out the actual mechanical issues with his character, such as the high stats, the race and class, and the fact that he had more weapons and armor that he should have with starting equipment. Immediate fit. He complained that he was dampening his creativity as being too controlling. You can find another table. I'm sorry. Too controlling of his character creation, and that D&D is a high fantasy game, so nope, it's whatever the DM says. I'm a super story-driven DM, and I bend my worlds to rule to accommodate players' ideas and creativity, but the character he gave me literally could not exist in the world we were playing. I felt really bad about this at first, because I didn't want, my setting to mean this player wasn't having fun, so I tried to offer the compromise that he could keep his stats in class if he just changed his race, which was the main issue story-wise. He refused. Then just fucking kick him! Integral to his backstory. His backstory I asked him to send over so we could figure out a way to make something that would make everyone happy. He told me that his backstory was a secret and he was not going to send it to me. That's how people disappear. You don't not send the DM your backstory. Who do you think's writing the story for the player's backstory to adventure in? Oh my god. I've been playing D&D for 7 years, and no one has ever said anything even remotely similar to this. It rang my alarm bells extra loud because in the past this player has randomly said things like, oh, I used to be part of this faction. They'll just let me into their hideout. Or, the prince and I actually go way back and we're childhood friends, so he wouldn't arrest me. Then these things have never been mentioned in his backstory or otherwise. I'm all for improv. But with him, it feels like he's making things up to avoid encounters or bypass the narrative I've written. Ooh, I wanted to be nice about the whole thing, so I just told him that's not really how my table works, but I'll be sure to keep his backstory extra super secret for the other players. He threw another hissy fit and that I was being too controlling. Then, dude, just get out the fucking table. To my great and incredible surprise after all this, the player showed up late to our first session, though the session wasn't overall lovely. He spent the entire time moping and glaring at me, somehow not participating and overshadowing all other players. Truly incredible. At one point, another player asked him something about his character, and he responded with something along the lines of, it was meant to be this, but DM wouldn't let me because of her setting, which I found a bit rude. Then go fucking play your own game, dude. Write your own story to have your Mary Sue play in. I'm not sure if this situation is grounds for an exodus, yes it is, from the table, but I'm seriously considering that, or asking the player if he can talk about how he the ways he's acting is making me and the player mates feel as though I'm the only one annoyed, or not the only one annoyed by this. Obligatory shout out to my other 7 players who rock and haven't done anything wrong. Yeah, I feel like this is people agreeing with it, but yeah, that's fucking crazy. Holy shit. Wow. That is, whew. Okay. Dude's way more patient than me, yes. For sure. Well, I'm going to call it there. I got to start getting ready to go pick up my boy. And then I got a day ahead of me with the family. But thank you guys so much for joining me. That was fun and letting me nerd out about things. Again, let me see if I still have it up. Check out Ice Shield 21 if you haven't. Beautiful, beautiful manga to check out. Give some attention and love to. Other than that, keep questing and don't forget to love each other. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you Sunday for Into the Runiverse. Thank you so much. Bye.